Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you with Ultimate Fallout number 4. This is the first appearance of Miles Morales as in a comic book, and also as Spider-Man. Not the cool black suit that he rocks, but he was kind of wearing a traditional Spider-Man looking one here. The print date on this book was August 2011, and God, hindsight is such a you-know-what. I wish I still had my original copy, because when it first came out, I bought it. And at the time, I didn't have a lot of space. I was living in a really small apartment, and I sold it! Ugh. I think I sold it for like 20 bucks. That's why, collectors, unless you really want to, unload your stuff, don't sell it. I'm slowly learning that. But thankfully, I was talking to some people online, and I got a second printing, so I wish it was a first printing, but that's okay. Anyway, that aside, the parts in this book with Miles are good. This is kind of one of those filler issues. Let me fill you in on what's going on and why this, I'm put it a little more in context. So you open up here, and before we talk about it, let's make a note of who made this. This is Brian Michael Bendis writing. Surprising, right? Artist Sarah Pichelli, I love her work. Colorist Justin Ponser, and that's the Spider-Man story. Reed Richards' story is Jonathan Hickman. Salvador LaRocca, Frank D'Armata. The Valerie Cooper story is Nick Spencer and Clayton Cowles. Letters is VC Corey Petit and Clayton Cowles, and then here's everyone else that's kind of working on it. So this takes place in the Ultimate Universe, which, help me out here, true believers, wasn't the Ultimate, because the main Earth is 616. Wasn't this one called like 1616 or 1666 or something like that? Let me know down in the comments, because I always get that confused. So here they talk about the creation of Peter Parker, great responsibility, great power, da-da-da-da-da. Now it says previously, Peter Parker died heroically at the hands of Norman Osborn, a.k.a. the Green Goblin. This happened back in Ultimate Spider-Man 160. He died in the arms of his one true love, Mary Jane, and the woman who raised him, Aunt May. Devastated by the sudden loss, citizens and heroes alike must learn to cope in a world without Spider-Man. A world now shrouded with uncertainty. So Ultimate Fallout. Now, I remember reading all of these, and at the time, I still wasn't really versed in the main Marvel universe, or where a lot of people pulled their ideas from. So at the time, it didn't really mean a lot to me. But going back again, having some age and reading some more books, this makes more sense to me. Now, the first story, called Spider-Man, we see this guy named Kangaroo. He just got out of prison, and he wants his money. Okay, big whoop, right? But then we see a voiceover say, wow, that ain't nice at all. And here we just read that Spider-Man's dead, but yet we see a dude here quipping, and he says, I think an apology of some sort is due. To all of us, really. We'll wait. And Kangaroo's like, Spider-Man, I thought she was dead. Yeah, man, that's in terrible taste. Because with Spider-Man dying, everyone learned that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. And that's another thing that I will say here, is that I appreciate that when they created Into the Spider-Verse movie, they did pick and peck a lot of what happened during the last arc of Ultimate Comics Spider-Man with Peter, and then the bits and pieces of Fallout from Ultimate Fallout until they kind of did their own thing, which is okay. But I like that they did poke through and give nods to the comic book. Speaking of which, next time you watch it, when Miles is flipping through his phone on who to call, you'll see two things in there where it says B. Bendis and P. Pichelli, or S. Pichelli, and it's the nod to the creative team who made him. So I appreciate that little nod as well. Now, I know in the past I've said things, but look at it this way, because I'm always, I've said things about Bendis because it just, I don't know. I don't know if he's lost his passion since he's gone to DC or the latter half of what he's done with Marvel. But I feel, and let me know how you guys feel in the comments, I feel like this Peter Parker, or not this Peter Parker, I'm sorry, this Ultimate Comics with Miles was like his last really solid story before everything else just kind of felt like it went off the wayside. Because, yeah, there's a little bit of talking, there's a little bit of joking, but it works because, you know, we have this new character. He's not 100% sure, like he keeps saying, that buzzing again, because he doesn't understand the spider sense. He doesn't understand anything of what he's doing other than that he has a little bit of strength. He knows that he's been bit by a spider, etc., so forth. So again, this kind of starts to follow a hero's journey. Now let me, and everyone's telling him this in terrible taste of what he's wearing. So he finally gets Kangaroo Jack down. You see a tired and exhausted Miles Morales. And he goes, maybe the costume is in bad taste. So that's his first appearance. And you don't learn anything until you read the Ultimate Comics Spider-Man about who he is, what's he's about, what are his parents, who's his uncle, how do you get bit, yada, yada, yada. So we will, excuse me, tickle in my throat, eventually go over it. I enjoyed it up until, where all the Ultimate Comics kind of started going off the rail because, again, they started to try to get too eventy. If they would have left, when they started doing the Ultimate Comics, which kind of took place after all the original Ultimate stuff, if they would have kept everything the way that they did, like right here, and paced themselves, I feel like the Ultimate Universe would have survived. But it felt like just his arcs were starting to get really, really good. Like, hey, let's throw these giant events in, and it just mucked everything up, especially in Ultimate X-Men, because at that point the X-Men are scattered to the wind. Kitty's in hiding, Jean's in hiding, they're trying to bring the X-Men together, and then all of a sudden they're freedom fighters, and there's all this other stuff going on, and you don't really get the whole story because the whole story is going on in the Ultimates timeline, and it ruined it. It killed it. That's why I say, ease off the events. Now, with that said, take a step off my soapbox. Ultimate Fallout. So there's a little bit of a narrative going on, but it feels more like they took 4 or 5 issues? I can't remember how long this book was, and it was like filler. Like, we get the introduction of Miles Morales. The next story, we find out about the Ultimate Reed Richards being stuck in the negative zone after becoming mad and everyone not really listening to him. And for all of you guys that are currently reading, sorry, I'm trying to get past, here we go. If you're reading, if you've been reading Donny Cates' Venom, and they show the Maker when they smashed all the universes together after Secret Wars, the Ultimate Reed Richards was one of the ones that survived. So in the Ultimate Universe, he started out good, like his counterpart in the 616. But I haven't read all the Fantastic Four from this, so I don't know what issues he started to go mad. If you guys know, let me know, because I'd love to read it. But he goes mad and starts to say, things like, this experiment will start with survival and end on the millennial tomorrow. My rules are simple. In the dome, it's evolve or become extinct. And he just, that's not the type of person that we know Reed to be. So this is kind of a unhinged Reed without any morals or values. Now we get into this story. This story starts to build into Ultimate X-Men. I'm debating if I want to spoil what this is all about, but here, this is the ultimate version of Valerie Cooper. I'm not 100% sure who this girl is, but they're having a conversation. This is, the reveal at the end is what really makes it worth it. But look at this, dialogue boxes. Oh my God, sitting and talking and kind of making secret agent jokes over coffee and ice cream. And it's just talking. And I just realized I don't want to spoil the end of this because I do want you guys to, if you can, find an affordable copy of this. This book skyrocketed in price after Spider-Verse came out because people wanted the first appearance of Miles Morales. It is not Ultimate Comics Spider-Man #1. It is Ultimate Fallout issue 4. So again, like I said, it follows different arcs because what they're doing is they're building up for what they were going to do during the Ultimate Universe. which in a way is okay, because you get 3 different stories, and then you kind of get ideas. Okay, this is going to follow Reed, this is going to follow Spider-Man, this is going to follow the X-Men, and Val really drops a bombshell at the end on the X-Men, which launches in. Which the Ultimate X-Men was great. But if you want to read Ultimate X-Men, don't read Ultimate X-Men first. Go back, I know, comics, right? And read Ultimate X. Spider-Man, it's sort of fluid other than making sure that you've read this issue. So good luck trying to find a copy of this if you've enjoyed this book. And you can, please, first and foremost, support your local comic shop and see if they have an affordable copy. Because right now, the asking price for this book is nuts. And then if you guys have enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little friendly neighborhood bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your feedback down in the comments below. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.